What is going on, everybody in Matt Squad? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be doing a speed test between the Galaxy A71 5G and the Moto G7 Power. Now, which one of these devices is going to win? Let's find out. So Matt Squad, as I said in the intro of this video here, this is going to be a speed test between the Galaxy A71 5G and the Moto G7 Power. And as I do with all my other speed test videos here, I want to discuss the specifications on paper to see which device can win this first part of the speed test here. Now, this is probably fairly obvious to you, Matt Squad, but this is going to be the Galaxy A71 5G having the Snapdragon 765 inside, which is an octa-core chipset that has 6 cores that are clocked at 2.4 gigahertz, as you can see there, and the other two are clocked at 1.8. And for the GPU is going to be the Adreno 620. Now, this variant of the device is going to have 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage. Out of the box, you're going to be running Android 10 with security patch of July 1st, 2020. Now, looking at the Moto G7 Power here, we're going to have the Snapdragon 632 inside of this device, which is an octa-core chipset that is clocked at 1.8 gigahertz. Now, although this says 636, this is the 632. And for the GPU, it's going to be the Adreno 506. Now, this variant of the device is going to have 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of internal storage. And as of right now, it's going to be running Android 10 with security patch of August 1st, 2020. So, Matt Squad, after looking at the specifications on paper here, we can all say that that clearly goes to the Galaxy A71 5G. It was no contest. More RAM, a more powerful CPU, more internal storage. It's an overall better device. As of right now, we got a score of 1 for the Galaxy A71 and 0 for the Moto G7 Power. Let's get to the next part of the speed test and see which device can run away with the W. So Matt Squad, with this next part of the speed test here, we're going to be doing the application open and RAM management test, in which we open up the same applications on each device to see which one can open it faster. And then afterwards, we test the RAM to see which device can hold the applications that we open better in the background. And so the first application we're going to do is going to be Play Store here. That goes to the Galaxy A71 5G. The next application is going to be YouTube. That goes to the Galaxy A71 5G by a hair. The next application we're going to open up here is Amazon. That goes to the Galaxy A71. The next application we're going to open up here is Best Buy. That goes to the Galaxy A71. Now let's go ahead and get to social media here. Facebook is next. That goes to the Galaxy A71 5G. The next application I'm going to open up here is Instagram. That goes to the Galaxy A71. The next application we're going to open up here is Twitter. That goes to the Galaxy A71 5G. So because I had an error with Facebook, I'm going to switch that application to Reddit. And we're going to open that here next. That goes to the Moto G7 Power. And the final application I'm going to open up here is Spotify. That goes to the Galaxy A71. So Matt Squad, as you saw there, the Galaxy A71 opened up majority of those applications faster than the Moto G7 Power, which is to no surprise. But to my surprise, the Moto G7 Power opened up one application faster, which was Reddit. I thought that was pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and test the RAM on each device to see which one can hold the applications better in the background. And we're going to start off here with Play Store, held by both. YouTube, held by both. Amazon, held by both. Best Buy, held by both. Instagram, held by both. Twitter, held by both. Reddit, held by the Galaxy A71. And last but not least, Spotify, held by both. So Matt Squad, as you saw there, all the applications were held in the background by the Galaxy A71. And ironically, the Moto G7 Power held every single application in the background with no issues, besides the one application that it did open faster than the Galaxy A71, which was Reddit. Thought that was kind of funny, actually. But nonetheless, the Galaxy A71 took this W here as well, having a score now of 2 for the Galaxy A71 and 0 for the Moto G7 Power. Let's get to the next part of the speed test and see which device can take that W. So, Mass Squad, here we are with the next part of the speed test here. And what we're going to be doing is looking at the Antutu benchmark, the Geekbench, and we're also going to run a speed test to see which device can get the faster up and down speeds. And so to get things started here, we're going to talk about the Galaxy A71 having a score of 309,377 for a Antutu benchmark, which is definitely respectable, and quite a bit more when you compare it to the Moto G7 Power having a score of 117,583. Now this is definitely a respectable score, being that the device is a little bit older than the Galaxy A71, and also it features an Android 10 that does help things out, but nonetheless, the victory has to go to the Galaxy A71. Now things are similar when it comes to Geekbench here. Looking at the Galaxy A71, we got a single core score of 603 and a multi-core score of 1,746. Now that is quite a good score. It's not as much as my first score ever that I got on this device when I first took it out the box, but nonetheless, it's pretty good, especially when you compare it to the Moto G7 Power, having a single core score of 263 and a multi-core score of 1,061. Now this right here, I just did a speed test here between the Blue G90 and the Galaxy A71. It is definitely quite a bit better than the Blue G90 here, but it is not better than the Galaxy A71. Clearly getting the victory here. Now we're going to go ahead and run a speed test on each device to see which one can get the faster up and down speeds. Now if I've got money here and I'm going to be a betting man, I want to put it on the Galaxy A71 here. But let me just double check and confirm that they're both on the same Wi-Fi network and run that speed test. So Mass Squad, I can confirm now that they're both on the same Wi-Fi network. Let's go ahead and run that speed test and see who gets the victory. So Mass Squad, being that the speed test has concluded here, we can go ahead and compare the actual results. With the Galaxy A71, we got a down of 94.1 and an up of 22.9, which is respectable on the 5G network here, the 5 gigahertz network for Wi-Fi, and for my data speeds in the house here. And for the Moto G7 Power, we got a down of 63 even and up of 23.3. So faster on the up compared to the Galaxy A71, but a lot slower on the down compared to the Galaxy A71, because the Galaxy A71 took the first two categories of this section here of the speed test. Because of that, it has a score now of 3 on the Galaxy A71, of course, and 0 for the Moto G7 Power. Let's go ahead and get to the next part of the speed test and see which device can win that one. So Mass Squad, with this next part of the speed test here, we're going to be doing the application install test, in which we install 3 of the top applications here from the Play Store, and whichever device installs 2 of those 3 faster than the other automatically wins this part of the speed test. And as you can see, the first application is going to be Zoom Cloud Meetings, and we're going to install those in 3, 2, 1. And that goes to the Galaxy A71. So Mass Squad, being that the Galaxy A71 took the first application, let's go ahead and install the second one, which is HBO Max, aka the best application in the world. Don't at me. We're going to install that here in 3, 2, 1. And that goes to the Galaxy A71. So Mass Squad, the Galaxy A71 is clearly the victor here on the application install test. It installed 2 of those 3 applications faster than the Moto G7 Power. And so as of right now, the Galaxy A71 has a score of 4 and the Moto G7 Power has a score of 0. Let's get to the final part of the speed test here and see if the G7 Power can actually redeem itself. So Mass Squad, with this next part of the speed test here, this is going to be simple, a power on and power off test, or in other words, a restart test, to see which device can cut off and cut back on faster than the other. Not really much left to say beyond, let's go ahead and get this started in 3, 2, 1. Now, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to put my money on the Galaxy A71, but the Moto G7 Power may surprise you. That goes to the Galaxy A71. So Mass Squad, as you saw there, the Galaxy A71 took the final speed test here, powering on faster than the Moto G7 Power. And this is another example of complete annihilation. The G7 Power should not have been compared to the Galaxy A71, but for entertainment purposes, I figured, why not? I know you guys are enjoying it just as much as I'm making it, seeing the results myself. So in the comment section below, Matt Squad, let me know, did you think the Moto G7 Power had any chance against the Galaxy A71? Did you think it was going to be an upset? Did you think it was going to be a surprise? Let me know. And if you are new to the channel here, consider subscribing so that you don't miss any coverage when it comes to mid-range devices and budget devices like the Galaxy A71 5G UW and the Moto G7 Power. And Matt Squad, like this video here so that other people just like you can get a little bit more help when it comes to researching budget devices and mid-range devices like the Moto G7 Power here and the Galaxy A71. And then you get to see cool speed test videos like this one here. It makes sense, right? And last but not least, share this video with your friends and family and let them know that not all Android cameras suck. It is just not true. But until then, my name is Max Rock. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day, y'all. Deuces.